Podcast. I'm your host, DrNiggle, and I'm joined by Masami, OmegaConstruct, and Zero Burn. It has been a holiday weekend that we're all getting back from. I hope people ate food.
Yes.
Food was consumed.
As long as it's food and not people, which is a fine line, I know.
What about sausage? As long as it's food, but not sausage. As long as it's sausage without food. I miss Leetness already. I wish he was here, because we have this back and forth where he's just like, yeah, give me all your sausage, and I'm like, I'd like some sausage too. And then we talk about how we just stuff it in any place that we can get it. It's a good bit.
Oh.
But yeah.
We miss you,
Anyway.
Leetness. Have fun preparing the room for demo.
Oh yeah, that is what he's doing.
Demolition.
Wait a minute, I'm trying to look for that. That was today, though. What the fuck? Why is it gone?
It was in I believe, the 4 Poop channel?
Oh, it was in poop.
This is where we put all my puns, ladies and gentlemen.
It is. Yeah. Lena's also facing a difficulty where somebody somebody at his office got COVID, and now lots of people at his office are getting COVID.
Because
Go
they believe
figure.
Still being in the office.
Right. And his CEO has mentioned that it might be a good idea to consider canceling the Christmas party in 12 days. And Leetness was like, yeah, no shit. So yeah, that's what's, Leetness, we miss you. Anyway, updates this week in Cyberpunk 2077. The Cyberpunk 2077 release will be on December 12th. I think that's the for sure, definite, absolute, nope, turnsies, backsies date. But it will be getting post-launch DLC. And I don't think that there's an announce date for the DLC, but regardless, they're keeping it super secret what the DLC will be. And the DLC will also come with what PC Gamer is calling an inevitable season pass. I don't like season passes. And I'm not really a fan of paid DLC, but they're keeping it super secret, so no idea what'll be in it, or if it'll even be worth a buy. Thoughts?
Well, I played Destiny for so long, paid DLC's kind of like, oh, well, this is a thing. But now that I'm playing Warframe, it's like, oh, wait, this is a thing. So I'm conflicted.
Yeah, I was gonna say, comparing Destiny 2 to Cyberpunk 2077, comparing Destiny 2 to anything, really.
Facts.
Ugh.
I mean, it really just kind of depends on what it is content-wise and what it's adding to the game, you know? I mean, like, there's some things worth paying for, other things not worth paying for, so.
Yeah, right. But CD Projekt Red is keeping very quiet on the contents of their DLC. Maybe, I don't know. It's too soon to speculate, and I refuse to farm a hype train.
And they're also still only giving hints as to the existence of multiplayer. They're saying it's going to exist, but they're not saying when. They're not even saying what it's going to really involve. At this point, they're saying they almost consider it its own separate, dedicated production, like a standalone project, rather than just an add-on. So it makes you wonder if we're getting into, Cyberpunk Online territory.
Yeah.
I kind of wonder if it'll turn out to be kind of like how Red Dead Online and GTA are.
Well, they figured out an insanely profitable model, and we'll see if CD Projekt Red can replicate that success without microtransactions.
That'll be a feat in today's market.
Do you think people would go for like a GTA-esque first-person only online game?
I think so. Yeah, why wouldn't they?
GTA Online offers first-person perspective, but they also offer, for the one camera that is first-person, they offer 3 other cameras that are third-person. And for me, it really works in third-person because the mechanics of it are so shit, especially when it comes to shooting and movement. Really, really, all the mechanics in GTA are kind of awful.
That's what I was about to say. Like, that game, you can't play first person because it is impossible to play.
Right.
So, who knows? If you could run around in GTA first person and it actually worked and made sense and the controls were, functional.
Yeah, that's the real thing, isn't it?
I don't know. They might end up doing more of kind of the Borderlands style online, where it's about running instances, kind of thing.
I haven't played
That I
that much
could see.
Borderlands Online. Yeah, what's it like?
Well, I mean, like, obviously you can co-op through missions, like the storyline, but, like many games with the online component, it's got, the equivalent to vaults or, Nephilim rifts or whatever you want to call them, just things that you can run over and over again for drops and, farming loot and stuff like that. So it's not like an open world kind of thing where it's just like open world persistent gameplay as much as it is like you and your friends can play through story missions and you and your friends can go do these specific organized tasks, but it's less like free reigning chaos.
I think it would be something that CD Projekt Red would be interested in, though, to have maybe. Okay, I was going to go with a persistent online world. No, I think I'll continue with a persistent online world where you can jump into a multiplayer session, much like you can jump into GTA Online in a session, and people will be doing things. There will be events going on. There will be, I don't know, map hacks. Not like the map hacks we think of, but some new game mechanic called a map hack where like part of the city is under cyber attack and blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera. I think that might be a direction that CD Projekt would be interested in, just because it would give people who had finished the single player campaign, or give people who aren't interested in the single player campaign, because I'm sure those must exist somewhere, something to do on like a daily basis.
Well, so this is where it actually gets interesting, though, is with how little we actually know about the gameplay and the way it's like we've only been given just a very slow trickle of actual data.
That is so. I am pulling this out of my ass.
Exactly. Like, we don't know how linear the storyline is or the plot line is. We don't know if it's open world or kind of, on rails, like Halo games that make it feel like a big world but there's only one direction you can be moving. So honestly, it's total speculation. It's really hard to guess. I'm not even sure, honestly. Because then I guess you could almost compare it to games like Mass Effect. And in that there's, a linear progression with side quests, and not every area is infinite and hugely, completely accessible, but like within a dedicated space, you're able to interact with all the things there. So kind of like a limited open world scope, I guess.
I would think it's kind of going to be on the limited scale. Like, I'll be honest, I don't know much about the original Cyberpunk video game, but I know a little bit about the world and the theme, and it's basically you and a bunch of other hackers or other ne'er-do-wells basically doing shadow jobs on the street. So, like, team having, like, some missions that are, like a daily team thing is definitely something that I could see happening.
Yeah, I would say on the scale of like rails shooter, like a Halo game on one end, to open world like GTA on the other, I'm gonna hope it's somewhere in the middle. Like
that'd be cool.
Like a Borderlands type game or a Mass Effect type game, where you know, because they're building this game obviously as an RPG where your decision making can have a huge impact on things, and so it can't be as linear as a first person shooter type storyline, obviously. So the question is where they decide to draw the limits. Either here's this massive city, have fun, or here's this area where you can do these things in.
I'm going to guess for when we're talking about this next year, my guess is going to be that their multiplayer will be geared more towards this huge open world map that they have constructed, and they will plop you into it, and there will be things to do with other people or despite other people. That's my guess.
So like GTA style.
Yes.
Yeah. That would be cool. I think either would be cool. I'm just looking forward to seeing what they come up with, but on that same token, I'm just looking forward to seeing what the actual damn game is itself.
Yeah, right. And what Sheba says as well, yeah, heist-oriented missions. Yeah. So activities in the online world that maybe like GTA do take you into a closed instance. Who knows? Who can say?
I mean, that's the whole purpose of this podcast is idle speculation.
But yeah, speaking of idle speculation, the hype is real. Pre-orders for Cyberpunk 2077 are way ahead of any Witcher game. So, yeah, now would be a perfect time for me to go back and say that people who pre-order games are what's wrong with the gaming industry. You're all what's destroying it, and nobody cares. Yeah, pre-orders are doing great. This is obviously a very popular game.
Pre-ordering, and this is just, again, my opinion. Pre-ordering is not, in and of itself, a bad thing. As we've seen with things in the past, some companies will put limited quantities out on purpose to and create artificial demand for a product. So, I mean, pre-ordering in and of itself is not a bad thing. Now, let's go back, a couple of years and talk about, yes, false scarcity. That's what I meant. Let's go back a few years and look at Fallout 76. Pre-ordering a $200 collector's edition that turns out to be absolute garbage, and literally they gave you a garbage bag. That is what kills pre-orders.
I'm gonna argue this one.
No, go ahead.
I was trying to think of some analogy to say pre-ordering in and of itself isn't a bad thing. First thing that came to mind was killing a whale in and of itself isn't a bad thing. Killing all the whales is a bad thing. But yeah, then I got down to no, you probably shouldn't kill whales in the first place. But yeah, so didn't really. Bethesda's a garbage company. Yeah. Well, their CEO is a garbage CEO.
Thanks, Todd.
Pre-ordering in and of itself is harmful. I'll say it's harmful, and it is kind of bad for the gaming community, because if you do it, you're showing a company that you have an interest in it. They're going to keep on doing it. They're going to encourage other companies to do it. It's like it's that one person that brings a pickaxe into their dorm room, and the college has to come up with a rule that people are not allowed to have construction equipment in their dorm rooms because that one asshole did it. That's kind of what I equate pre-ordering to. So I've stopped personally.
Is there a story behind this construction equipment thing? Because
No, there's no story. There's no story at all. We can move on.
Yeah, there's no. Yeah, no.
Oh, there's a story.
It wasn't a thing.
It's not a story we can tell on air.
It's purely hypothetical.
It is. Yeah. No.
Well, I mean, and of course, then when we get into talking about the the pre-orders being good or bad thing. You come down to the, okay, well, if pre-ordering good or bad, you can also say, is exclusivity good or bad for the gaming industry? Which I am wholly on the side of saying exclusivity is absolutely terrible for the gaming community.
But I see them as two completely separate arguments in it of itself, that pre-ordering is something that can apply to everything, not just exclusive titles. And also, pre-ordering is a way of telling a company that they can make money before they have a product. And when it is time to launch the product, it doesn't matter how finished that product is, because they already have your money. Exclusivity still requires them to have, assuming, this is an extreme either or. Either you're a pre-order or you're an exclusive. So in that either or hypothetical, if you're exclusive and you don't have pre-ordering, you still need a finished product to sell when it is time to sell that product. So I know it's a hypothetical, I know the real world doesn't work that way, but in that kind of scenario, pre-ordering is worse.
My philosophy on pre-ordering is that there's no reason to pre-order unless you are pre-ordering to get a perk with that pre-order.
Unless you're a whore for glitter, like I am.
And whatever that may be, that might justify it. But if you're just pre-ordering just to, there's no difference in buying it on release day and downloading it from Steam or whatever launcher you use that you would have done just the same. It's no different. So there's no purpose there. But I kind of have an issue with it. The idea behind pre-ordering was about fundraising. And
for smaller titles, yeah.
Yeah, and it's been sort of co-opted now. This idea, that what you're saying is you're paying money for a product that doesn't exist yet. Well, once upon a time, there was a reason for that. Now it's just a money-making scheme.
Yeah, now you don't need it for raising money for small indie titles anymore, because Steam has something called early access. And people know what they're getting into. They know by now that the game will probably be finished. Most early access games go on to be finished games, but a lot don't. And the developers abandon them, and people get pissed off, and they're like, well, it was early access. You know what you were getting into here. Pre-ordering, yeah, it shouldn't need to be a thing anymore, and it certainly shouldn't need to be a thing with AAA companies.
Not with digital ordering. I mean, it used to be about how many discs they were printing, so you wanted to get a disc, before anyone else did.
Well, so now
that's also true.
But it's also a way for them to get guaranteed sales before reviews, before anybody can say it's a bad game, before anything else, and they tag on some inconsequential glitter to get people's attention, and they'll be willing to pay for it early, and that is guaranteed income that they can look at before they even launch the game. So, from a financial perspective, it makes perfect sense why a company would do that.
But marketing, they can use all those stats and marketing to gain even more initial orders before in that first 24 to 48 hours after release, to even get the sales amped up more before everyone realizes it's shit.
Here we are talking about the fact that this game's pre-orders are severely outpacing and outperforming any other title from CD Projekt Red. So yeah, exactly that. That's exactly what this is.
Yep.
Kosen says Final Fantasy VII. Yeah. The collector's edition, actually everything. No, just the collector's edition, completely fucking sold out. And it's only available now for people who had pre-orders and people who got the last ones. So yeah, artificial scarcity, as Shiba said earlier, and Final Fantasy VII is a pretty good example of that.
Listen, I'm not even bothered by that. If you're gonna make unique swag for shit, yeah, do charge whatever outrageous amount you want, and don't make a shit ton of them, because what's the point? It's purely promotional bullshit. But it's not a problem until they're limiting the amount of game copies that are going out. Anybody can pre-order the game. Sure, if you want, some expensive collector bullshit, well, yeah, it's expensive collector bullshit. That's how expensive collector bullshit works. So I'm not bothered by that.
I like my Assassin's Creed sculptures.
Is Cyberpunk even doing any special glitter or whatever?
I don't know. Let's
Good
look it up.
question. Yeah.
Like, I haven't seen Jack and Squat, so if there isn't anything, I kind of applaud them for just selling the goddamn game.
I think they did do a collector's edition or some type of bonus edition that came with like a statue or something.
So there is a collector's edition, and they are sold out. Oh, wait,
Yes.
the ones in Canada at least are.
Canada.
A.
Yeah, they're sold out.
They've got Snow and Moose. What the hell else are they gonna do?
Yeah, well.
So let's see. With the it comes with the game disc, game code and soundtrack, CDs, reversible cover, world compendium detailing the game's setting and lore, postcards from Night City, a map of Night City, stickers, and then a digital pack including the digital soundtrack, digital comic, an art booklet, Cyberpunk 2020 source book.
Don't forget that sculpture.
And wallpapers. And
Big ass sculpture of a dude on a motorcycle.
yeah, then there's the collector's edition. So that's what you get just for pre-ordering, is all that stuff. Then the collector's edition. Let's see.
Right, yeah. The collector's edition.
Sorry, the collector's edition box, case with game discs, case with game code and soundtrack CDs, reversible cover collectible steelbook, 25 centimeter statue depicting V, the game's protagonist, in action, hardcover art book, metal pin set, a Quadra VTech metal keychain, an annotated copy of a visitor's guide to Night City sealed in an NCPD evidence bag, embroidered patches, world compendium detailing the game setting and lore, postcards, a map of Night City, and a sticker bomb set. And then some other digital bullshit that I've already listed a couple times. So, yeah, like, honestly, this is a video game company. I'm not going to be mad at them for not, like, turning themselves into a manufacturing company to make, 200,000 of these things so that people can pay $29.95 for it instead of making, 1,000 of them and charging $200 for them. I am not bothered by that at all. Like, that's artificial scarcity. You can complain about that. It is a real thing, but that's how collector's edition things work. A signature, a rare baseball player signature is artificially scarce because that player decides not to sign more signatures. You could be one of the players that signs fucking anything and your signatures are worthless. Yeah, I'm not bothered by that. Until they limit the number of game copies and start a bidding war over actual, like, who could play the game, then that's a different issue. This is just collector's bullshit.
Actually, let me check this link by Kosin, but yeah, at least on Amazon, the PS4, Xbox One, and PC versions of the collector's edition are sold out.
Yeah, I'm sure they've been sold out for a while.
Yeah, probably since before April when it was first supposed to release. Had to pull down some shade there.
Well, there's an article from November 13th of last year that is talking about all of the collector's editions being sold out.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. This game's been hyped for so long.
Apparently, yeah, there's a Reddit post, collector's edition sold out everywhere from June 11th, 2019. So, yeah. I'm not too bothered by it.
People want their statues.
Yeah.
It's fine. That's fine. That's why I bought a Diablo 3 Collector's Edition. Because I wanted that.
I'm certainly not knocking people for for buying them. And, yeah, that's cool. Collector's shit is cool. I'm all for it.
I'm not gonna lie. I've got a couple of Destiny. I've got a Destiny 2 statue in my office. I'm not even gonna lie. I pre-ordered Destiny 1 and 2, and I got the collector's edition for 1. Couldn't get my hands on a collector's edition for 2 until 3 months after the fact, and that was because somebody at the local or at the GameStop down the street from my house didn't ever pick theirs up, and a buddy of mine was the manager down there and called me and said, "Look, I've got this thing. Do you want it?" So
I got
Hey, look, the only reason that I could find a collector's edition of Diablo 3 after launch was because somebody in California bought like 100 of them and was just selling them on eBay. So,
I got Halo 2 and I think Reach collector's editions.
jeez, yeah. No, back when buying physical copies of a game, well, it was a different time. All right, 2007, we've already established, was a pretty kick-ass year for gaming. So yeah,
Well,
I do have collector's editions for, well, but that brings us back to the other thing. I have collector's editions for Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3, but I bought them at a store.
Well, that's exactly it. That was, you went down to GameStop on opening night or like launch day for the game, and you picked up your game and this cool like badass swag that came with it. That was part of the experience.
But yeah, I definitely didn't have to buy a collector's edition of Diablo 3 because that was all through the Blizzard launcher. I did that because I played it for a year or two, and I was like, that's pretty good.
tell you, I was out on the road. I was working for a truck accessories company. I was up in the northern portion of West Virginia near the Ohio border, and I went to a GameStop up there and I had my pre-order transferred from one GameStop to another for Wrath of the Lich King, because I wanted to make sure I had it on the night that it dropped, and I didn't want to wait the week and a half that I was going to have to wait to go pick it up. So I had them transfer it up to the store that I was closest to and got my collector's edition Wrath of the Lich King. I still have that thing somewhere. I don't know where it is. It's in a box somewhere, likely. Yes, yes, Sheba. I am from Virginia / West Virginia. I get it.
And yeah, so I'm sure we'll talk about pre-ordering again at some point
Yeah.
in this podcast of the years to come.
I mean, we talk about games. Inevitably, that's going to be a thing. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, on the lighter side of the Cyberpunk news, there's been some new
something people are really interested in.
there's been some new art produced based on the Cyberpunk IP. There's you're going out of order, Zero.
What?
There's this really cool World of Warcraft Cyberpunk 2077 fan crossover.
I was really gonna talk about the porn too, but yeah, we can. Oh, fine, we can. Whatever.
Yeah, it's called presentation, guys. You go from one to the next. Save the best for last. Jesus Christ, you know how to run a show or not?
No.
I had the.
Are you kidding me?
Look,
I'm barely literate.
Fucking horny ass Zero over here. Oh my god, time to talk about the porn.
Zero.
He's the one who pulled up the
Look,
the,
I had
the
it in
article.
the order that it was in the list. The Warcraft article came after the porn article. Yes, that was a double pun. Fucking get over it.
Get on top of it.
So
Yeah.
Warcraft, it's Warcraft graphics. What exactly, Zero? What exactly do they do here for the Cyberpunk presentation in Warcraft?
I just read the article. I didn't actually. Oh my god, they machinima'd the shit out of this, and it looks terrible. I've got the video playing on stream right now. This is awful.
So, not to rip on Warcraft too awfully much, but their graphics engine is old, and things don't look great in it. Despite that, someone made a very admirable effort to recreate the world of Cyberpunk 2077 in the WoW graphics engine. And I'm not clear if they actually did it inside of a WoW instance, but yeah,
no, this looks like a machinima. Somebody just took the assets and used the assets, but that's pretty much the extent of it.
I'm definitely seeing some assets in here.
Hey.
Hi-oh. So yeah, anyway, it's a neat thing to do. It's kind of a neat crossover. I'm not really sure why this art exists or why most art exists, but you know, it's a good expression of people's excitement for, I don't know, some bullshit. I just ran out of steam there.
We noticed. You kind of puttered out.
Anyway, it is a little fun to watch, and honestly, you say they took assets from WoW Zero. There are some assets in there. I'm not familiar with the game at all. I don't know how you would create a car out of pre-existing assets.
Actually, there are several. There's the Mechanahog. There's a couple of motorcycles, a couple trikes, a couple of cars.
You can blame the dwarves and gnomes and some other random races that try to invent things but don't exactly succeed.
Actually, gnomes and goblins only. Dwarves just build shit out of metal.
They just
Cars are made of metal.
Yes, but the dwarves can't make them move quite like the goblins and gnomes can.
That's why you outsource the engine to a gnome. Telling me that economy doesn't exist in WoW.
Oh, trust me, it does, and I'll get into that. I'll get into that shortly.
Yeah. So it was a neat thing that people did, and obviously it's a fun little video to watch. But you know, this is just more of the hype of Cyberpunk 2077 affecting people and people trying to deal with it. Unlike people such as myself who forget about hype by consuming vast quantities of alcohol and watching pornography. Can we talk about porn now? Zero, go to the other one. I want to talk about porn.
Okay.
Right, there we go. All right, Cyberpunk 2077 has new porn parody. It's not as good as you think it is. I've seen it. So here's the whole deal. Yeah, no, of course I have. So it is a virtual reality porn presentation where it's not as cool as, you know, like you're walking through this set that's, you know, detailed in the world of Cyberpunk 2077, at least not the parts of it that I've seen. From what I can gather, this basically takes place in a room. You're the dude, and you're sitting there, and it's just like the beginning of Cyberpunk 2077 where you wake up and you've been rebooted, and you're trying to get all your systems back online, and there are these two lovely, helpful ladies there to help you get your systems back online, and they start with your penis. So that is the gist of it, and you can tell it's pretty low budget. It's extremely low budget, actually.
I think
But
that's
still.
why it's called a porn parody.
Hey, some porn parodies have like really good budgets. Have you ever seen like the Flintstones porn parody or the Scooby-Doo porn parody or the Pirates of the Caribbean porn parodies? Holy shit, the Pirates of the Caribbean. Yeah.
I have
exactly,
seen the Pirates one. I have seen the Pirates ones.
That one, the production values were almost as much as the first Pirates movie that Disney did.
Honestly, if you cut out all the porn scenes, the plot actually was kind of okay.
No, like once a year, the porn industry goes all out and makes like one blockbuster porn film where they like spend a stupid amount of money and like actually try to make a good movie that also has people fucking. And the
Trust me, it's more than once a year.
Well, I mean, yeah, but on the scale of like the Pirates of the Caribbean one, they're not doing that every year.
Oh, no. Okay, so Vivid, I believe it's Vivid, has a whole series for Downton Abbey, where it's a Downton Abbey porn parody, and it's really good production values. They do that one a year. So maybe you're right. Each studio goes out and, you know, goes all out and makes one per year. So there are a bunch of major porn studios that are still producing like old school videos, and yeah, this is not one of those. The point is, this Cyberpunk 2077 parody is not one of those.
I'm still waiting for the third one because the one chick got put in jail, so they couldn't do it right away.
Oh my god. This podcast just turned into a porn review podcast. Awesome.
That's fine. She was absolutely right. The internet is for porn. Everyone
Okay.
knows this.
Yeah. Oh.
But anyway, it's the novelty of this is probably that it's VR. So you can look around the room, you can look everywhere, and see what's basically happening to you. It's not bad.
Meh.
Yeah, as far as porn goes, it's not terrible, but it's definitely not like visually stunning in terms of set design. So anybody else see any good porn?
I don't know that there are many people out there watching porn for set design. Just throwing that out there.
Look, you have to be connoisseur. If you're a connoisseur of pornography, you have to appreciate the finer things like plot devices and costume design and mise en scene.
Yeah, I used to work in an adult store, and one of the employee perks, in addition to a very nice flat discount, was a one movie a week free. So
Masami is saying she has a collection.
Oh, no, I
had a
didn't.
collection.
I did not buy them. I merely took advantage of the rental ability because I was morbidly curious.
Porn shops still let people rent videos?
Yes, they rented DVDs, so we got to take one home free per week.
I actually worked for a movie store growing up. And it was always the best because you would get the people who would like sneak into the back room and then they'd sneak out with like the cassette underneath their jacket and they put it up on the counter, and when they would be that shy about it, of course, my manager at the time would be an absolute asshole and be like, "So, are you going to enjoy?" If there were no kids in the store, of course. And
or even if there were.
Well, we live in the Bible Belt, my friend. It's I'm surprised he got away with this as much as he did without having corporate called more often.
Are you going to enjoy your copy of Virtuous Black Twat?
So, but the best part is you could always tell that they were ashamed because they would never rewind the tapes, and you could always tell where they stopped because that's the point where you would have to rewind it from.
So naturally, being the sort of person that you are, you pop the tape in to see exactly where they stopped, and then you rewound it, right?
Oh no, there were ones that were rented out so often that literally we had a contest over under betting on where it was stopped at.
Wow.
By the way, we had quite the lucrative betting pool. Let's just say that.
Okay, yeah, just quickly, getting back to renting porn DVDs, is there some sort of... I fully understand renting regular movies. I get it. It was a thing. I'm not sure if it's a thing anymore because I don't know any blockbusters that are still working, and Netflix Redbox is just gone. But for porn, do you have to go through some disinfectant process when it comes back to you? Because that there's a high probability that it was taken out of the DVD player immediately after the person was done with it, so that nobody found it.
Oh yes, there was much Lysol used.
Okay, that makes me feel a little better, even though I've never... Well, I mean, I might someday.
I want to say we did, but honestly, that job was so long ago that I don't quite remember.
I think I'm younger than both of you, but I'm from the generation that has never paid for porn.
Oh, to be so young.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, to be honest, most of the people who rented were either older gentlemen who were very much used to Blockbuster and that sort of model of achieving your video media, or interestingly enough, couples. Not necessarily old couples, not always young couples, but just couples, like of any age range.
That's really weird that you say that, actually, because yeah, I turned 18 before a bunch of my friends, and two of my friends were dating each other at the time, and they asked me to go into the adult store down here, Exotic or whatever it is, and yeah, they asked me to buy them videos. I haven't thought about that in years.
Contributing to the delinquency of a minor.
I was just, hey, they were my friends, and it was nothing that any of us hadn't seen before. These two were
That's
fucking
true.
like rabbits. So it's like, yeah, okay, so you want a DVD of people doing exactly what you're doing? I don't see how this is a bad thing.
I mean, definitely not a bad thing.
And Virtuous Black Twat is a real thing, by the way. It's black nuns fucking. So go check that out.
Well,
Uh,
absolutely no doubt that it was a real movie. I didn't even Google it. I trusted you that much.
Oh god. Okay, so
this is great. We should talk about porn more on the podcast.
well, if we're gonna do
God.
that, then we really do need to invest in being able to post on Pornhub.
We could continue kind of a porn-esque discussion on this list with the makers of a sci-fi sex game called Subverse. We covered this, Zero, probably before you got onto the podcast. We covered this a while back when this was still in early access. Or it was still being raised. It was on GoFundMe or something like that, and depending on the goals that they hit, they added more and different content into the game. But Subverse is basically... Yeah, it's anime Mass Effect. So you're captain of a ship, and you recruit these like sexy crew members, and then you bang them. And also, there's ostensibly a story that goes along with it, but nobody cares. So the Subverse Kickstarter success story ended with over $1 million towards its promise of a sci-fi RPG with tactical combat, where you get to exactly what I just said. And they canceled plans to release Subverse in early access. The early chapters of this are due in, the first chapters of this are due in early 2021. So they face a spot of controversy. I'm not sure if somebody else would like to talk about the controversy. I just want to talk about the tits.
So what it appears is that they've had to backtrack on teaming up with the YouTuber because the YouTuber happens to be, shall we say, slightly racist.
White supremacist, misogynist, harassment camp, like a horrible person.
I was getting there. I was being
slightly racist.
I was being purposefully vague. But no, they've had to backtrack and
well, they did that. They did take back their. They apologized for using this person to promote their game, and then they apologized for apologizing to use this person for their game, saying that they like this person as a person. They have no problem with him as a person, and obviously their game Subverse has no political connotations whatsoever. Everyone, regardless of age, race, creed, religion, or political orientation, should be free to enjoy this game while being endorsed by a white supremacist, misogynist bully. So there's that.
It's like they did something dumb and got in trouble for it, and then people got mad at them for apologizing, so they apologized to them, and now they're trying to be like, I don't know what you want me to say, I'm just trying to make money. That's basically what's happening here.
Sounds like it.
Like, there was this guy who was involved in, seemingly related communities, and they may not have been aware. Like, he's on a different username now than the username that he was that got banned from a bunch of different things. So, I mean, the guys who are making this porn game might not even have known it was the same guy. And then they used him, and then they got shit on, so they scrambled and apologized and, tried to save face. And then all the people who support this racist, misogynist asshole were like, what the fuck, bro? I can't believe you do such a thing. Since we're like the main audience of your game now, we're not going to buy it anymore. And now they're panicking about that, and they're like, oh, we just did, we're sorry, we said sorry, and sorry to, I don't know, what do you, yeah, it's pathetic.
So, just to give you an idea, this guy had a bunch of Discord quotes leaked, and you don't even need to go that far. You just go to his YouTube channel, which I'm not going to give. And he has been quoted as blaming black people for slavery, which hard to go wrong there, buddy. As well as calling Asian people ching chongs. I just think, all right, I don't really have a problem with that. I think that's funny because I'm terrible. And saying that God does hate yellow people, which is, again, tough to go wrong there. Good luck with that, especially since this is kind of an anime game. I'm not really sure why they picked him up in the first place. But, yeah, he's said all sorts of... He's a xenophobe and a racist. And he's said some pretty fucking horrible shit here, actually. He's also apparently got videos up on his YouTube channel about why it's his right as a white male to say the N-word.
Yeah, see, there are a lot of free... I will push free speech all day long, and I will again say that while, yes, freedom of speech is a thing, freedom from consequence is not. If you say that kind of crap out loud and somebody decks you in the face for it, you don't get to cry foul. If you get decked, you get decked.
Hard R N-word. There's a difference between having a scholarly discussion about the writings of Mark Twain and just dropping it in the middle of a conversation. That's like...
Well, I like how
there's a difference.
It also specifies, it's nice that this guy actually has two channels. He has one channel about gaming, and then another channel where he rants about Islam, immigration, and racist shit.
So yeah, wonderful human being, great spokesperson, and Subverse is getting shit for this, and rightfully so.
Yeah, you can't endorse a guy even if he's basically giving you free marketing if he's a shit guy. That's you can't embrace one channel without embracing the whole person.
Yeah,
I just think their reaction, as much as you can call it a reaction, has been hilarious.
Hilariously awful.
I mean, still hilarious.
I'm not arguing that part.
Well, yeah. So, I mean, this was a thing. They made a gigantic fuck all mistake, and I'm sure they will probably pay for it in the long run.
I just think it's
Maybe.
Worth noting and hilarious to say that this weird porn anime game thing is the 16th most funded video game project on Kickstarter.
people love those anime titties.
Yeah, sci-fi RPG with aliens that you can have sex with.
To a certain extent, that's how you could describe Mass Effect.
I mean, you're not wrong.
You're absolutely not wrong. I've watched most of Mass Effect.
I'm still bummed. I was teased that the big sex sell for Mass Effect Andromeda was that you could have a 3-way. It's a lie. You can't. The most you can do is bang 2 chicks in the same game, and and the one that you're serious about doesn't find out that you cheated on her. That's just scuzzy.
Well, it's nice to see you have standards.
Yeah, Sheba, it was a lie. So mad.
Is consensual non-monogamy still that hard to portray in art?
Probably.
Yeah, this is why I'm hoping in the new Mass Effect game there's an alien companion that you can get on your ship that has tentacles. So you can have that one, and then you can have the other ones that have the traditional holes, and you can all just have a great time.
Sounds like a party.
Hopefully they'll all take their shoes off.
We have circled all the way back around to porn. Oh my god.
It's good, yeah. It's a porncast. Just discovered the name of this podcast.
We might have to revisit posting the podcast episodes on Pornhub after all.
Yep.
So a fun little tangent off of thinking about sex, video games where you have sex with aliens. There's a new startup in Texas that's trying to figure out how to make you able to smell your favorite video games as you play them.
Oh, oh my god!
You know what?
That is how you make a transition.
That is a
Yeah,
segue, and that one passes the smell test, my friend. I will give you that one.
Smell fish. Mmm.
Good one. Thank you for that, Omega. That at 55 minutes into this podcast has completed everything that we need to do.
Yeah, there you go. That was a good one.
So yeah, this Texas startup is creating a way to add scents to video games. I think that's pretty cool. Which one do you guys pick this article up?
That was me. I thought that it was a really cool concept. Basically, what it is a hardware device that will be capable of releasing combinations of scents that will take on whatever sense would be typical in the gameplay environment that you're in. So I should say this is not something that this particular hardware device can determine for you. It's something that gameplay or game devs would have to add into their games or pre-program into their games so that if someone had this hardware, it would, produce the following scent when you walked into a smoky room or into a sewer or into, anything like that, just to sort of add to the realism or the immersion into whatever game you're playing. In the case of Subverse, hopefully some fish taco smell or a little bit of perfume, whatever you're into.
Well,
Yay, the smell of stale sex outside my bedroom.
There you go.
This kind of like gives the interesting notion of like you buy a game and they mail you a scent cartridge that would plug into presumably your VR headset, and then at predetermined times in the game, certain scents would be released.
I wasn't clear if there are specific cartridges that have specific scents, or if it was a universal hardware device that was capable of producing a rainbow, as it were, of smell.
Yeah, I'm not sure either what this is specifically. I'm just saying, like, that could be like a future implementation of such an idea where, VR game makers are going hell, there are theaters now that are doing stuff like this where they use scents and airflow and stuff like that to make it a more immersive experience. So that'd be kind of cool if this startup could lead to something like that where you could have that level of immersion.
In that, though, I believe you're correct that these are cartridges that you can swap in and out of this thing, and so a company totally could do what you're saying. For right now, it says the 6 pots of unknown but presumably smelly, oily substances in a 3D printed holder are pre-programmed to moments in video games and can produce an aroma. And this is actually, the plugins for this device are currently available for Unity and Unreal. So people could start using this, developers could start using this immediately.
Yeah, well, it does say later in the article, there's one developer who has created a game called Adventure Climb VR, and it comes with a special edition of the kit that has the odors of a waterfall, fresh air, rocky plants, Egyptian musk, cappuccino, and fresh mint. So there's already an instance here of a specific set of scents made for a specific game. So you could be right in that what they are offering is this sort of rainbow effect, or a spectrum effect, where they can use different base scents in mixing them different ways to create different scents for default developers to use on their own. But they might also be offering developers to create their own scents as they choose.
This could be neat. I'm not gonna lie. This could be a very. It could either be really good or it could turn out absolutely horribly. I mean, absolutely horribly, because
Wife comes knocking on the door. What are you washing in there? Smells like fish.
nothing.
Listen, if we are trying to go for like fully immersive gaming experiences, which is obviously where we are heading, it almost feels like we're going in one of two directions. One is going to be this type of direction where we use hardware solutions to reproduce the senses that we would otherwise be feeling or experiencing in this virtual environment, or we got like this Neuralink bullshit that'll be able to like directly tap into our sensory nerves and stimulate them artificially.
Oh yeah, that's definitely the direction that we're going. Just give Elon Musk another couple of years. We'll all have chips in our brains. It'll be great.
So, but I like it. I think this is pretty cool. I don't think it's going to be viable commercially. I don't think this company's going to make any fucking money.
No, this is a novelty.
I enjoy the technology, and I think it is the kind of thing that these guys dicking around with this thing right now means in 20 years we might actually have something in like wide-scale production.
This would be great if they could create a package of this for PC Building Simulator, so that the PC office smells like cold sweat and old French fry grease.
Accurate.
But think about it. With all of the shooters that we play, what if you could smell, the sulfur of the burnt gunpowder? What if you could, what if that was there? What if when you're playing in a forest, you could smell the musty, leaves piled on the floor? Like it'd be kind of neat.
What if when you were playing D&D, you could smell the farts?
God, no.
Zero.
Oh God. Okay, look. Oh God, we'll get to that later as well.
What initially brought me to that was thinking about Warframe and the toxin clouds that the Mutalisks spray.
Oh
Or
God.
the whatever those things are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Mutalist Ospreys.
Infested Ospreys, yes, thank
Yes.
Yeah, they are fart clouds.
Oh
you.
God.
Yeah.
You watch them and they literally like clench up, and it's like, and then it like
It
their fart
propels
them across the room,
That's
leaving
great.
a cloud of death behind them.
I do not wish to smell that ever in my
No,
life. I mean,
they're
I see
pretty
the damage.
terrible.
I see the damage that it does to my Warframe, and I can't imagine the damage it would do to my scent receptors.
Yeah, that would be
What
pretty bad.
What if it smelled like cinnamon buns?
Oh God, if it smelled like cinnamon buns, I would weigh 700 pounds.
I imagine it's so noxious it would just singe your nose right out of your like you just singe the inside of your sinuses completely.
That would look in that game. I have problems occasionally noticing when I've been toxin procced. Like
Yeah.
it'll be up in the upper right hand corner. I just won't see it, and I'll die, and I'll be like, "What the fuck?" So if I could actually smell that I was near one of those clouds, that's a whole new incentive to stay away from toxin procs.
Yeah, imagine playing Warframe and every time you got toxin procs, it just smelled like ass.
Woof.
Oh God.
We would have to think of a different scent for each of the different status procs.
But you have a gun that does, or what? Okay, just what if you had a gun that did pure toxin or pure viral, there are a lot of them out there. Would your gun smell when you were doing a toxin or when you were shooting off toxin?
Note.
No, it would no. I think no. Space Magic says no.
Ignis Wraith with gas damage. Oh god.
Okay, Ignis right there definitely be collateral damage there.
It goes everywhere.
That's like spraying bear mace into a windy day.
That is a brilliant analogy, and I love you for it.
All right, yeah. So we did that. We did that. We did that too. Oh, you want to touch on Bungie before we go into? Let's do the two politics one. Actually, no. Let's do the two politics ones. Political management sim Suzerain to release on December 4. I looked at this game, but I didn't put it on the list.
I saw this announcement and it just looks kind of cool. Like, you play the role of president, you are the leader of a nation, and you are taking over after a period of civil war under a dictator. You're replacing the former president. Like, it just, if they could actually, it's a text-based RPG, which I know will turn a lot of people off right away. But I don't know. It sounds like it might be kind of cool. Not the kind of game that you put a shit ton of hours into, but like something that might be kind of fun to sit down and put a night into and see what you do. Or who knows? Maybe they build it out even bigger. But I think it looks kind of neat.
So yeah, you are the new president. As Omega said, after civil war under a dictator, you are the new president replacing the old dictator. But the country is in shambles. So your economy is in a recession. You have welfare systems that aren't adequate at all. You have both the military and the law in dire need of reform. Your country's a mess, and it's your job to make all these decisions to try and get the nation back on track. And supposedly, your decisions have consequences and lead you to one of a number of different endings.
Sounds like they're prepping people to take over for various South American countries.
South American?
But Doc, what this game reminds me of? There's this shitty game that I found and I loved for a very short amount of time that you started playing as well, as like a really cheap game called Evil Bank Manager.
Oh, yes. Yes.
And what this game was, it took place in, what would you say, like medieval Europe, not even later than that, probably Renaissance, where...
late Gothic, early Renaissance, yeah.
Yeah, so you are a bank manager, like you are running a bank, and you ally yourselves with the nations around you. You fund certain armies, so nations that are favorable to you win battles and expand their territory, and you expand your industries through your territories, and it's not even a country versus country battle game. It's you fighting against the other banks for financial dominance of Europe, and it's all completely text based. Like, I mean, yeah, there's graphics and shit. Obviously, it's not like looking at text on a screen, but like, there's no like action sequences where you're controlling units or anything. It's all just you picking different things and making decisions to determine the outcome of how things go, and that's what this kind of reminds me of that. So I'm pretty excited.
It does. Yeah, as you said, probably not a game that you'd sink a whole bunch of hours into, but depending on how well it's constructed and how realistic it is, yeah, could be fun.
You too can own your own country.
That's all. I just thought it looked like a neat game that was coming out.
Yeah, seems fairly neat.
Sorry, I got sucked into reading it.
I don't know, the whole text-based thing.
Well, like, what that means is just that, like, you're never a character that's, like, running around that you're controlling with mouse and keyboard or, like, joysticks or something.
Yeah.
Like, it's a lot of point and click, you picking different choices, and, you're presented with a thing happening, so you then, choose how you respond. And I don't know, if you enjoy a game like Civ, it's really not much. It's only a step farther away from that, because in that you're moving things around, but still all you're really doing is pointing and clicking.
Yeah, it sounds like Doki Doki Literature Club, really.
Oh, political Doki Doki.
I have
Politics Club.
Game's still
And the
creeps me
one,
out.
yeah, and the spoilers. The character who's after your dick is really a world leader. I'm just like, I've always wanted to be in power with you.
Keep coming back to that.
So I couldn't help but notice that now you owe me $400 million. We're gonna be such good friends.
That's how you buy a dick,
Too
ladies
close.
and gentlemen.
That is how you buy a dick.
Yes, I will be keeping my eye out for Doki Doki Politics Club.
And on the same note as Doki Doki Politics, not at all actually. AOC also streamed Among Us this past week and raised $200,000 for charity, so that was kind of cool. This is the second time that AOC has streamed Among Us.
Yep, the first time she did it, it was a political fundraiser before the election. It was like a get out the vote and politics kind of drive. But this time, she was raising money for eviction defense and food pantries and other charities, and she raised over $200,000.
Nice.
It's nice to see that just wasn't a political guffaw, but
Well, and I give it to her. She definitely, she's doing the right thing, and I can appreciate that. And you don't see anybody else doing shit like this. You just don't. And it's good that she's getting the younger generation connected to politics. I don't agree with everything that the woman says or everything that she believes in, but she is getting the younger generation connected into politics, which is a good thing. No matter the side, it's a good thing.
Well, it's not just that.
Yeah.
Like, she is a younger person. Like,
Well,
she's
yeah.
in her early 30s. This isn't like her doing political maneuvering. Like,
Yeah,
this is her
this isn't
having
cringe.
fun and doing. Like, there have been other politicians who have tried stuff like this, and it's usually pretty bad. Like this, it feels natural. Like, that's what I enjoy about it. Is like she feels like I believe watching her playing a video game. Like, I believe it. You sit down some other politician to like play video games, like, I don't believe that. It's not real.
Yeah, this is obviously the first time that you played Minecraft.
That's obviously a stunt. You're obviously like just doing this for attention and trying to like get, whatever bullshit, blah blah blah. This is a person that I could see like, yeah, she probably actually enjoys playing video games, and now she's doing something with it that's really cool.
I mean, seriously though, she was just within the last 5 years a bartender, and now she's in Congress. I mean, come on. There's not much. You can't say anything bad about, okay, this is what I want to do. This is where I'm going. I'm going to get there. She got there. And now she's, and Sheba said, she's, that she's actually a pretty decent League of Legends player. Good on her. I can't figure that fucking game out. I've tried. I just
Me
can't.
neither.
And
Not my thing.
I can't. Well, it's like Heroes of the Storm. I tried that shit too. Same principle. Can't get it.
Leetness got me into that one.
Heroes of the Storm.
I thought the same thing as you. I was just like, oh, this is interesting.
Yeah, it's League of Legends WoW edition. I mean, technically League of Legends is Warcraft 3 multiplayer edition with different characters, but I digress. It's she, again, I don't agree with everything that she says. I don't agree with everything that she does, but using her platform to do good is always good. because that is something I think we can all agree with.
And fundraising for charity. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's good all around. So whatever, she's a politician not in my state. It's a terrible thing to say. Yeah, I don't have to worry about that because I don't live there. Well, anyway. So those were the two political things that we had, and then the rest of them is the Bungie CEO says company has been working on new games for 3 years. I mean, I kind of expect that, but are there any significant games in that list, mayhaps?
I mean, there was talk about them doing a couple of games, but when they split from Activision, there was that allowed them to kind of say, okay, they put their focus into getting Destiny 2 right and refocusing their energies into making Destiny 2 decent. Because Activision kind of fucked Destiny 2 pretty hard. But they are working on other games. I haven't really seen much on these games. I know that I'd heard something about Matter, but didn't know much about it. And the other IPs I haven't heard anything about.
So I guess
all I know is that there were talks back when I first started, when Bungie first broke away from Activision. There were talks of them creating other titles and branching out from Bungie because they didn't want to, or branching out from Destiny because they didn't want to be a one-trick pony.
Well, also Destiny is. I shouldn't say this. I don't know this for a fact, but from everything that I can tell, Destiny is in decline.
It is.
So it's kind of time to move on. This article basically just says that they have had incubations, which is an interesting corporate word for we're thinking about stuff and spitballing them in rooms, but not doing anything yet.
Well, it almost seems like
new games.
It almost seems like they're talking about or thinking of it sort of just as team development and developing just a culture and a methodology and just a process as a studio. And that's kind of what how I'm reading these incubations to be. Like they're almost doing these little somewhat inconsequential game projects just so that they as a studio can learn to work well together, so that when whatever this next big project they're going to embark on comes around, they're not going to be, trying to figure out the dynamics of how the team is working together from scratch.
Sure. Which is a good thing, and I get how from a corporate standpoint it is important to let people know that you're still relevant, essentially. But that's more what this is. They're not announcing new games. They're just saying that, hey, we're still a thing, and we're still working, and we are trying to be a better video game company. So exactly. all of it pans out to be, we'll see what they come up with and whether or not this approach was fruitful at all.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. This definitely feels like hey guys, I know we haven't done anything in a while, but I just want you all to know that we're still working on it and we promise good things in our future.
Right.
That kind of seems like what this is, just the CEO sort of getting out in front and saying, like, hey, look, guys, we've been doing some things behind the scenes. And
you think it's a pitch? You think it's a corporate pitch so they can maybe get bought by Microsoft?
Oh, that would be funny. That would be funny. Just like dangling out there, like, hey, we've got a few IPs hanging around in our, it's been a while since we left Microsoft, but, we had some really shitty time under Activision, but we thought about it, and maybe the Halo times weren't so bad.
I was going to say, that would be them going full circle.
That would be hilarious if they went full circle and then the fact there. Because, that's been kind of the unfortunate thing about Bungie, is after they left Microsoft, Halo went downhill, and Bungie's projects were never as good as Halo. So
Yeah.
it's kind of unfortunate that I don't think. What has Bungie done? What other big projects have they done aside from Destiny?
That I don't know.
Was Destiny their first big thing
I think
after
Destiny
Halo?
was their
Destiny
first big
1.
thing. Yeah,
Yeah,
Destiny
after
1.
Halo 3. After Halo 3, yeah, Destiny was their huge title. And then 3 years later, Destiny 2. It seems like they poured the majority of their effort into those two games after leaving Microsoft.
Let's see. So it was Halo 3, Halo Reach, Crimson, Steam Pirates, and then Destiny and Destiny 2.
Yeah.
There was a game called Crimson Steam Pirates. It was an iOS and Chrome game. Google Chrome.
I'm sure that was wildly successful because
Gotcha,
I've never heard of it.
Oh, they just published it. They didn't. They weren't developers. And it was through a program that they do to support indie developers. So, okay, we'll ignore that. So, yeah, literally, they went from Halo Reach to Destiny and Destiny 2. That's all they've done.
Yeah,
Those are their big. That's their library. So since they left, they did Destiny, which was
successful. Like Destiny was, they were a small company after breaking off from Microsoft. I get that. There's nothing wrong with pouring all of your time and effort into a product to make it really good. And Destiny 2, go back to all the reviews up to modern day, Destiny, the first game, was considered good, really good. That's why Destiny 2 got the hype that it did, and then that went downhill real fast.
Yeah, I would say Destiny 2's success was good but short-lived.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to, if you look at it this way, the reception, and of course, I'm going based off of Wikipedia, and we know how reliable that is. But their overall, I mean, their Metacritic scores on PS4 and Xbox One were 76 and 75 respectively, which
Pretty decent.
which is decent. Eurogamer gave them an 8 out of 10, Game Informer 8.75 out of 10, GameSpot 6 out of 10. IGN gave them a 7.8. Polygon gave them a 6, but I mean, Polygon. Destiny 1 was in my opinion, now I played Destiny 1 from alpha. Or beta, really, because we only had access if you got the pre-order, and that was what I pre-ordered. It was, I mean, I had a lot of fun. I met a lot of good people playing that game. There were, got through it. The first two small expansions that they had, the Dark Below and House of Wolves, were and then the Taken King hit, and that is where Destiny took off. That was Destiny's Wrath of the Lich King. That sent them soaring and carried them through the end, essentially. Rise of Iron was just a supplemental thing compared to what they did in Taken King, and Destiny 2 was just a hot mess. It's the whole reason why I quit the game. It's just they started recycling content, and I get that there's only so much you can do within a particular game universe, but when you're literally doing the same things and just saying, hey, this is a new game mode, but it's the same game mode, same exact mechanics, the only thing they've done is add a sequence to start that particular mechanic.
Well, not to ignite a tired argument that is the Warframe versus Destiny franchise argument.
Warframe!
It's just an interesting thought looking at the way that DE decided to stick with this one product and evolve it iteration after iteration after iteration. And it makes you wonder if Bungie had followed a similar model with Destiny instead of releasing Destiny 1, a few DLCs, killing it, and then rushing Destiny 2 and having it be a shitty product. Like, what if they just kept developing Destiny?
Oh,
Where would that be today? Like, that it's just an interesting thought experiment.
Oh no, it's a great thought experiment, because I honestly believe that had they done that, had they left it be and stayed on the Destiny road, that it would have never dropped. Well, it would have dropped off naturally, as games do. It would have dropped off, but at the same time, it would have been way more successful, because when they hit that reset button, when they smacked that big red button at the end of Destiny 1 and deleted all of your shit, all of your hard work from 2014, 2015 on. Yeah, 2014 on. Oh God, you want to talk about some pissed off players? I had worked my ass off. I had every exotic weapon, every exotic piece of armor. I had all of the achievements. I had busted my ass. And I am not even joking you that when they hit that reset button, it almost made me not want to play Destiny 2 at all, because none of it carried over. They gave you a nice little art piece at the beginning of the game, chronicling your achievements in the first game.
That's bad.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of art pieces, I'd like to thank Shiba for his word picture of a rusty metal dildo with serrated barbed wire.
which is the most accurate depiction of what Activision did to Bungie. Bungie.
Bungie.
Bungie.
When did we get married with children?
Ow.
Damn it, Peg.
Oh man. Alright, so Red Dead Online to be spun off in a standalone game. Alright, that sounds cool. Does anyone want to talk about RDR in a standalone game?
Never
I
played it.
I like the idea that maybe one day we'll be able to log into GTA without having to log into story mode just to get into online mode fast.
I don't know about that.
Well, see, the problem with that isn't that you can't go right into online mode, because you can. The problem is that it's stupid in that you can't go into a closed crew session from the main menu.
Yeah. Also, oh my god.
That's what's stupid.
No. I'll if that ever improves, I'll believe that when I see it, if it ever improves. But yeah, anyway, I really want to talk about Super Nintendo World opening in February. It looks awesome.
That sounds
so. A while back, yeah, it does. A while back, we talked about, or I actually posted the article about Nintendo World becoming a thing because Nintendo wanted to compete with Disneyland and Disney World. So they were like, let's have a whole bunch of, Nintendo-themed exhibits in this giant park, and people can go on roller coasters and ride teacups, except for teacups are mushrooms, and the roller coasters are, I don't know, Bowser or some shit. Doesn't really matter. But the park is set to open February 4th in Osaka, Japan. And currently the only park to be opening its Nintendo-themed doors is in Japan, but more parks are in the works to expand that fandom love even further, with the United States and Singapore locations on the way.
Dude, I can't wait.
The one in the U.S. is actually, if I remember correctly, is going to be in Florida.
Of course.
Not far from Orlando either.
No.
So
that makes the most sense.
Not to compete with Disney World or anything, or not to take advantage of the tourism in Florida, but because the state of Florida has such lax health and safety regulations when it comes to people dying on roller coasters.
Yeah, the theme park industry has really shaped a lot of laws in Florida. Like, no joke. Like, there's been articles written and documentaries done about how much pull Disney has had in the laws of Florida. It's
Seriously, I was making a joke.
No, like, did you know that
God.
Disney actually was able to convince Florida to allow them to be technically their own city?
No, I did not know that.
Yeah. There's Yeah.
Well, in true Florida shape, they will bend over for literally anybody.
But
Oh,
dude, think about how many cool Nintendo properties there are that you can make amazing rides out of. An F-Zero GX race, like a racing roller coaster. You could do like a Donkey Kong themed like Jungle Cruise safari type ride.
Nintendo games are like made for kids. They have such fun graphics and such fun. The look of them is so fun to see that in real life. Yeah, this is fucking made for theme parks.
Well,
yeah,
I mean,
it's gonna be so cool.
I'm showing on stream right now the pictures that were posted on Twitter. The Mario Kart roller coaster. Give me that. I will. You know what? I am a fat guy and I have a hard time losing weight. I will go on a diet to be able to ride this ride.
Look, if you want to go to the opening in Osaka, yeah, you're probably going to have to. But if you want to wait till the one in Florida opens, it's Florida. They'll have jumbo-sized cars.
I wonder what kind of Legend of Zelda rides we'll get. That's going to be interesting.
I would like to see, and this is just based. I would like to see the Breath of the Wild be used heavily for that because of the ability to float and fly within the game using the glider. They could.
Oh yeah,
do a flyover of Hyrule.
Suspended roller coaster is what it's
Mhm.
called when you're hanging down and your feet are dangling.
Well,
Yeah, you could totally do that.
But see, then you could do like a water ride that's taken off the Wind Waker.
Mm-hmm.
You could do like you think like the Disney Pirates of the Caribbean ride where it's got like that whole raft ride through all that crazy shit that's built and stuff. Like, dude, you could make such a cool cell shaded artwork kind of style stuff. That would be awesome.
You wouldn't have to put up with mechanical Johnny Depp telling you, "Welcome to this part of the ride." So fucking awkward.
Why is the rum gone?
Nintendo has such a great library of IPs to turn into a theme park. That would be so cool. I can't wait to see it.
And I mean, even looking at it, and even using the more recent IPs, Pikmin, create a giant world. Just like make yourself feel, make the visitors feel tiny. Put them in the Pikmin world. Put them in, all of these different. Yeah, no, I agree. Tons.
Then
of
you have the Smash world where everybody just beats the shit out of each other.
Yeah, no, I could get on that. Lax Florida laws. I'm sure we could get by with that.
Yeah, it's basically Thunderdome. And,
Oh my god!
it's instead of like Smash Melee, you just walk in there and everybody it's like Fight Club plus Thunderdome, and they just have like Smash Brawl sign up above the area, and everybody can go in there and just beat the shit out of each other.
Like a giant bounce house. Oh my god, yes.
Instead of Florida Man headlines, we'd have, New York Man and Virginia Man and all sorts of other men because, they have very loose reporting laws.
All I'm gonna say is if that happens, the 3 minutes that I have saved up to fight will be used in that moment. Because I've been saving. I've been saving that 3 minutes of fighting in case somebody cuts in line in front of me at the Burger King, and I will use that 3 minutes. But if we're gonna have a Thunderdome style thing, we need Dane Cook standing on the outside, and every person that walks in, he has to say, "Welcome to Thunderdome, bitch." Just like he did in the movie Waiting.
I thought you were saying we need to have Dane Cook on the side so that people in the audience can throw things at him.
Oh no! See, you didn't let me finish, because if he didn't say "Welcome to Thunderdome," if he doesn't say "Welcome to Thunderdome," nah, he gets the cattle prod.
You're channeling that I don't like Dane Cook. I don't think it's a secret. Channeling that one time that he was in a movie where he had a good role.
Yeah, well,
Hey, and then Earl came around and we got to see him murdered with a shovel, so that was something.
My question is, who shit on the coats?
And with that, speaking of shitting on the coats, yeah, you want to talk about the D&D wrap up, and we can bring this podcast to a conclusion.
So
If anyone,
yeah, so I mean, this week was fairly, this week was fairly
Relaxed.
relaxing. It was,
It was a low key session, no combats.
yeah, no combat, just working on things. We discussed the efficacy or the potential efficacy of weaponizing flatulence.
could be good. Could be good.
I attempted to poison my character.
Oh, you didn't attempt to poison yourself.
Oh no, I
you
did
poisoned
poison.
yourself.
I poisoned myself. Off of really awesome peer pressure. I have the best friends.
What? That's bullshit. Like the fact that you tried to get somebody else to do it at all is ridiculous. No,
Yeah, come on.
Like every good scientist, like you look at all the historical scientists who test, like the guy who proved that fucking ulcers were caused by bacteria gave himself ulcers and cured it with antibiotics to prove that that's what it was. Like that's how that's how a badass does it. You're like, oh,
Also,
can I
yeah.
poison you?
Yeah. In that, remember the movie Contagion, starring Matt Damon, where Gwyneth Paltrow gets infected by a guy who was cutting up a pig that ate fruit from a bat, and the scientist in that movie, which was totally a real movie based on a documentary filmed in real time, that scientist found the antigen and infected herself, and then cured herself. Same deal. That's how scientists do it.
Now, listen, it fit your character to do what you did, so I'm not like, whatever. That's fine.
It was character building.
It was good. I'm just saying that, like, if Zigbar were a badass, he would have been like, I'm going to test this on myself. Can you heal me if I need it?
You tried to cast poison on Sigurd after Sigurd made you new shoes.
I mean, and they were glorious new shoes. I am very appreciative of these new shoes.
You tried to poison him.
No, I knew that he couldn't be poisoned. I just wanted to see if there were any ill effects.
That was also kind of a funny part. That ended exactly how I thought it was going to end too. Because I was just
Well,
yeah, you could poison me, but
It definitely
I'm not going to be able to know.
it definitely illustrates Zigbar's spectacular intelligence score.
Yes, and the amazing lack of knowledge he has of the strengths and weaknesses of the party, which he has now learned slightly. It's
Well, I like
Sigurd,
how
immune to poison, great farts.
you knew that he was immune to poison,
I knew out
so
of
you
game that he
asked
was
to
immune to
test.
poison. In my defense, I knew out of game that he was immune to poison. My character would not have known that.
Well, does he not know about the amulet that you wear? And you haven't been like secretive about it? So-
No, I haven't been secretive about it, but also, I mean, Sigurd doesn't like talk about stuff very much at all. So I don't think there's there's no example where Sigurd would have been poisoned, but had no poison effect since Zigbar got to the party. Sigurd's definitely been poisoned in combat and hasn't done anything.
Mhm.
So the rest of the group is really totally aware of that. So yeah, I think what Zero's saying is right. Outside of game, he knows.
Well, but like, wasn't there the whole thing with the drinking where you have to take off the necklace to get drunk?
Yeah, but I don't. Sigurd, I keep on saying it's not me. Sigurd doesn't make a thing of that. He just does it. So I'm not sure. It's possible. Zigbar Bill at some point may have actually seen Sigurd take off the amulet. He might have put two and two together.
I think
Given what we've already established is his outstanding intelligence.
Well, if we're being 100% honest, the last time that we got drunk, I ended up attempting to stack furniture in the shape of pyramids.
Yes, that is accurate.
Yeah.
Also-
The last time you took a sip of alcohol, I think you threw up.
Yes.
'Cause that was when the orcs were still on the ship.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a good time.
Because they gave me orcish alcohol, which might as well have been gasoline.
Sigurd liked it.
Probably an effective poison, huh?
Yeah, so there was that, and then we got off the boat and sent messages back to people elsewhere in the world where we had been, and Starcam composed one of the loveliest sonnets that I've ever written or ever read. And it was lovely. I'm actually going to see if I can find it. Dearest brother Brockton,
God.
I write you with some grave news. Yeah, no. So this goes on, like, he wrote quite a bit, but he did it all in the character Starcam, and it's very Starcam.
Well, yeah, I gave you guys the opportunity to write messages for your characters to, send a message to someone, and you guys did a good job of it.
So we all wrote letters that I think captured our characters. I'm still learning Bill's character.
I mean, I had no friends prior to meeting you all, and honestly, after the fart incident, I'm not quite sure if I have friends or if there's a god.
I thought Bill had a thing for Dulara.
Entirely possible, but we will leave that up for imagination.
She's also like 60 years older than you.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, it's fine. What's 60 years when you're half elf? Yeah, I don't think we're going back to Tribor.
No, we are not.
If we go back to Tribor, it's to kill everyone in it.
Listen, you guys are talking about possibly going back to Phandalin. It's not far from Phandalin.
I know.
Like one of the nearest cities to Phandalin. It's not like it would be far out of your way.
Well, that could be our winter activity.
If you trace your steps back to get to Phandalin, like basically, if you guys want to go back to Phandalin, you'd either have to take a new route there, or you will go through Tribor again on your way back.
Well, Ashrin, you and Starcam and I are going to have a serious conversation about murdering a lot of people.
We may want to keep that jar of wyvern poison.
Why do you think about... Yeah, Sigurd was... Not because it is valuable, but because it is rare and because it is very useful, Sigurd was hesitant to give you even one jar.
Yeah, I've still got 3 vials of that, so I'm kind of holding on to them for very, very, very special occasions.
But yeah, that's pretty much what we did. And then we got to the Unicorn Forest, which apparently Zero freaked out over.
Yes, I did. I told my wife we ended our session in a unicorn forest, and she immediately looked at me as if I was crazy. I mean, she's not wrong, but
I mean, admittedly, I kind of did the same thing to Sheba.
well, it's one of those things where, and I got to thinking about it. I've been playing D&D since I was off and on since I was 10 years old, and I have never once seen a unicorn. Never once seen a unicorn in a game.
They're like an OG like D&D monster or creature, I guess. It's not like I don't know.
I don't know why more people don't use them.
I don't know. People think they're too cliche, so nobody uses it. So it's not actually cliche.
Basically.
So when you get to use one, it's like, oh my god, someone actually used one. That's so cool.
Yeah,
And unicorn.
that's exactly it. Like when I started playing in 2005, I played with a lot of people who'd been playing for a long time, so they were not into revisiting those old cliches. So that was really quite a breath of fresh air, if I can speak words we established earlier. I don't know what they are.
But also, those yes, unicorns have been in D&D like for fucking ever. But like, I haven't played D&D any past editions or anything like that. So,
Oh yeah,
how I am going to use them, who fucking knows? Like, it could. I don't know. So far, it's just been fairly casual. Like, it's not like you guys find a unicorn and he presents you with a quest that you must undertake. It's just like, yeah, okay. The place that you're going to happens to be in a unicorn forest, and the unicorn is aware of every part of his forest, so of course he would know that you are entering it. So yeah, he would be there to see you as you entered. It's not like, I don't know. Could there be more to it? Maybe, but like, there are unicorns in the world, presumably, in very distant, hard to reach places, and you guys happen to stumble into a distant, hard to reach place. So,
Yeah, no, I dig it. Absolutely dig it. I have no expectations.
Yeah, done.
at some point, I think Starcam might try to ride it.
Probably.
Though I think he really wants a Pegasus. He wants a flying horse.
Of course he does. Well, I really want mithril armor, so there you have it. So yeah, well that's about all we did. That's where we left it in D&D. So that's what we did. And yeah, I think that's about it for the podcast. Anybody want to say any last words? Great. All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you everybody for joining us on the Church of Chonkwij podcast. I hope you had a good time. We certainly did, and this has been going on for this is a new one. This is record for us. This is the first one, and hope you have a great week. Catch you next Monday. Here's Zero to take you out.
All right, everybody. Programming this week, we are going Thirsty Thursdays at 9 or 8 Eastern, and then we will do a Saturday stream. Hopefully, my programming has been a bit weird on Saturdays, so it will either be a Saturday stream or a Sunday surprise stream. It just depends on everything. Keep an eye on the Twitter machine, and we will catch you on the next one. Have a great night.
Penis.